Hey, everybody, I am home. You don't know how exciting that feels to say because I'm not home that often. So I'm home and I still I don't know. I keep saying it every time. I mean, not every time. This is only the third episode, but I can't believe it's the third episode. So anyway, I'm still just kind of pinching myself and over the moon about it all. And so, yeah, you're probably going to keep hearing that for a little bit longer. Okay, so dating. This is interesting. It's not even necessarily dating with MS. This is just kind of dating in period. This is dating at 40. This is dating with a chronic illness. This is just kind of like dating in 2024. All of the different pockets of dating because I figured it's Valentine's Day this week. Let's talk about romance. Let's talk about dating and how single I am. Okay, so I figure we'll kind of go down the list and start with something that we all can relate to, which is just kind of like dating in 2024. And I feel like I've missed the memo on what the rules are. I missed that lesson. I missed the all of it. I'm clueless because it seems like people aren't as into online dating anymore. That seems to have kind of made its way on the not cool list. I've let it go. I'm not interested at all. I am not on a single app. I'm not interested. I want nothing to do with it. I know plenty of people that have found their person. They're married now. All of the amazing stories, all of the amazing things. And so it's not that I don't think that it can work for people. It just doesn't work for me. I want to meet someone in a different way. I think there's my own baggage, which not to be like TMI, but I have, for whatever reason, dated some really dishonest men. I mean, like whole family, whole separate family going on type of men. And so online dating for me, it's just a little too stranger danger because even when I thought that I met someone that I maybe knew or knew someone that knew, I still have found myself in a situation with finding out that they have like a whole other family somewhere. So for me, online dating is a hard no. Again, I don't have any of the apps. I'm not interested. But it seems like, and I want you guys to tell me. You tell me, is online dating still a thing? Because my other friends that are single, I'm not hearing too much that they're finding people online. I mean, I'm still hearing like a spatter of it, but it's just not the way that it used to be. So I don't know if it kind of faded after COVID or if we're just not doing it anymore. Women that are of a certain age, that age being 40. But I'd love to hear from you guys if online dating is still the method in which to try to find love for the majority of people, because it's just not something I'm hearing too much about. And so then that lends us to, okay, well then what is it? And I'll be honest, I've started trying to just ask people to find me someone. Like I've been very upfront about it. So when I am meeting some of my friends that are married, if I'm meeting I think I was just talking to one of my mentors and I was just like, listen, I'm single. If you know someone, if you can think of someone that you think might be a fit because you know me, if you know that they're single, please mention me. Please bring me up. Let's set up a coffee. Let's set up, like a really impromptu kind of general meet that's like no pressure. Like, please keep me in mind. And so I've just started kind of like talking about that and saying that. And so I don't know, I'm just like speaking it out loud and hoping that something kind of comes from it. But I'd love to know how you're finding people. There was this there was this meme. I'm on Instagram a lot about all of these women that are like staying home and wanting their person to like find them, but how would they find us? Because we're always at home, right? So it's like, that's me. I'm at home. So he just needs to find me some kind of way, or I'm at Disney. So maybe he's at a Disney adult that I'm looking for. But I don't know. I just feel like I'm a little lost as to like where we're supposed to find, a person, a man specifically. But I would love to hear what you all think about dating in 2024 because I'm clueless. I have no idea. So if you tapped into this for some like advice or for some tips, you can go ahead and, go to your next podcast because I'm lost and this is a cry for help. So hopefully someone's listening and will take mercy. I will share if it is a DM that gets sent to me or if it's in the comments. If you're watching this on the video pod, hopefully please leave a comment and share what you know because I want to know where to go, what to do. Someone was like, oh, you need to be out. You need to like be out and, you'll see them. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm at home, but then also I'm out. Like I travel a lot. I'm an event planner. I do these really great parties and events. There's a lot of people there. I'm out. I'm out and it's not happening. I'm not seeing anything that I'm interested in and I'm not being overly superficial because looks really, they don't matter. I hope all of you have gotten that by now, that's the last piece to things. It's about who a person really is and, the chemistry and what you have in common and just the vibe. So I'm not even, my list, if you want to say it, does not include a lot of superficial things or physical attributes. That's not what my list is made up of anymore. I've kind of grown out of that. So I just am wondering, like, again, where? Please share. We all want to know. But if you are finding yourself in a space where you are seeing men or women and seeing opportunities and, people that you might want to get to know, and you're living with a chronic illness, I think there's another obstacle that's there. At least it is for me. And that's another thing that I wanted to talk about today. And it's how do you manage dating with a chronic illness? And there's so many layers to that because it's when do you share? When are you letting someone know that you have MS? Once they do know, how are you communicating what you need in order to be able to date and be with someone in a way that's like comfortable to you? And we're going to go deeper into that as we get to know each other and as I get over my fear and my anxiety when it comes to intimacy with MS, but I'm not ready to go there with you guys just yet. But I know we're going to get to know each other more and we're going to go there and we're going to share, but that's going to be a little further down. But for now, there's still so many things that we have to think of when dating on top of the kind of normal things that everybody thinks of, when dating. So, you're nervous to, talk about your most previous relationship or, why that went wrong, or you're nervous to talk about, I don't know, maybe your financial situation or, where you're at in life in terms of your career, or maybe you're nervous to invite someone over to see your place. There's all those kind of, universal fears and angst that we all kind of have and carry, or, we wish that we were 5 pounds lighter, or, just again, all the things that I think anyone could kind of relate to. And then when you add on having MS, it's like, shit, okay, when am I going to tell this person something that takes up so much of my life, which if we were to be together is going to wind up taking up so much of their life? When do you share that? And I know that some of you have said that, you wait and you share it when you're ready, which I get and I respect. But I also feel like shouldn't the person know? Isn't it their right to know if this is something that they want to like sign up for? I don't want to, kind of catfish them in a sense, and I don't know, have them think that they met a version of me that maybe they're excited about and looking forward to find out that there's actually this other side of me that maybe they don't want to participate with, like, for whatever reason. It doesn't mean that, and that's the thing, for those of you that are listening to this that don't have MS, it's not a bad thing if you don't want to date someone with a chronic illness. It's okay. I mean, you could have a host of reasons. It could be that, you are already caring for a lot of other people in your life, in your family, and you just don't really have like the bandwidth for something like that. Or maybe lost someone and this is a triggering thing to hear. And so that's why it's something that you're kind of staying away from. I mean, or you could just not want it. It's the same as someone saying that they don't want to date someone that has kids. And as hard as that is to hear, especially I have several girlfriends that are single moms, and it's something that they are, vulnerable with and hold some insecurity with, which they absolutely should not. And if you have a chronic illness, there should be no insecurities, but there could be people that like don't want to date someone that has kids or don't want to date someone that has a chronic disease. And that could just be their prerogative. And that's also fine too. So I'm not here to try to like guilt anyone into going down this journey. I think, again, it's giving everyone grace with knowing that it's okay to choose the path and the life that you want and the partner that you want. And whatever your list is, you can kind of stand in that, and you can hold firm in that's what you want or you don't want. And you don't have to apologize for it. You don't have to explain it. It's okay. But I do wonder, when do you share? When is the right time to let someone into what is a very much a silent kind of private battle and journey that we're kind of all on? And I remembered going on a date with a guy that I did not share that I had MS. We had just kind of met. We had talked a few times, not in great detail. It was kind of light. It was fun, but again, we hadn't talked too much. Our first date happened relatively quickly from when we first met, and it wasn't that I was choosing to not tell him. It wasn't like an active choice. It just kind of hadn't come up yet. I didn't really feel comfortable. The conversation didn't really like leave space for that. So I didn't. And so we go out, and I wind up I get overheated. I start having these awful tremors, and it kind of builds into this flare up of I'm sweating, I'm shaking, I'm in pain. He's freaking out because he's just like, literally, what's going on? And we didn't go out again. That was it. It was a one it was a one and done. But going back in my head, I'm like, okay, should I have told him? What did I take from that? Like, okay, the next person I see, am I going to just like, whether the timing feels right, whether it makes sense, am I just going to blurt it out? Is it something that I'm just going to like say like, hey, just so you know, I have MS, or am I fine with the fact that I didn't and I got outed anyway? And I don't really have any regrets. I mean, I felt embarrassed at the time, which I should not have, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to share that part of my life yet. And, it came out before I was ready to. And maybe that was too much for him, or maybe he just didn't really vibe with me in the first place. I think sometimes we get in our head and I'm like, oh my gosh, he doesn't want to date me because I have MS, or, he didn't call me back because I have MS or because I had this flare up, but he might not have called me back because like he just wasn't feeling me. That could also be it. So I think we just have to kind of take some of the pressure off of our disease and stop blaming it for everything, because like he literally could have just like not been that into me. It could have had nothing to do with that. I'll never know. So because I'll never know, I'm going to let it go and move on. And I think that's what I really want you to take from this, is like these things we can't control. We are living with this for now, forever disease. It is overwhelming. It's hard. It's painful. It's a lot of work. But it is what it is. We can't control that. We can't control who's going to decide to be in our life or not be in our life. We can't force it. We can't tie them down. We can't make it happen. So let them come and let them go. And I think once I kind of leaned into that, and again, I haven't found, my person yet, but when dating, I'm just so much more comfortable in my skin. I'm so much more comfortable with sharing that I live with MS. It's not something that I'm thinking in my head, okay, when am I going to say it? How should I say it? It kind of just comes up in conversation because it is so much a part of my life. It's the same as me talking about my dog, Harper. I'm going to bring her up inevitably. Something's going to happen in the conversation where I'm going to mention my dog, Harper, because she's a part of my life. She's a part of my day to day. MS is a part of my day to day, almost all of my day. So it would be more work for me to not bring up MS. It would be almost disingenuous. It would be really not that authentic of me to not say it. So I just let it kind of come out and let those cards fall where they fall. And so either someone's heard of it and they're like, oh, maybe they know someone, or someone in their family has it, or they've never heard of it. They have no idea. And a first date or a first encounter is not, my opportunity to be like, oh, well, I have this podcast, I have this Instagram platform, and like, here's all the things about MS that you like need to know. That's not the time or the place for that, but maybe they'll ask me a couple of questions, or maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just say, oh, okay. And it's something that we talk about on the next date, or, the fourth date. So I just think, again, it's taking the pressure off of what happens after you share that part of your life or of your story, of who you are, because it just doesn't have to. Don't give it that much power. Don't give it that weight. So excuse me for those of you that are watching. I'm having a hot flash because this is a mess and it's a lot of lights. So I've got my fan. Hopefully it's not too much noise for those of you that are listening, but I would like to not have a flare on camera. So here we go. But yeah, that's the big thing for me, is giving yourself the pass, giving yourself the grace that it's okay. You don't have to build up all of this anxiety over sharing this piece of you, because it is just a piece of you. It's a big piece. It does it holds a lot of space. That's true. I'm not going to lie and say that it doesn't, but it's still just a piece of you. And there's so much more to me, and there's so much more to you. And that someone is going to see that and want to learn about all of us, all of you, all of the pieces, because we're worth that. And I want you to never forget that. So whether you have Valentine's Day plans or Galentine's Day plans, if you are single, if you are married, if you are with someone, it's just always remembering to not hide your light, to not make yourself out to be less of a person because you're a whole person. You're so much more because of this disease, that we just have so many more layers to us that I think are a benefit, a blessing. Someone would be so lucky to have you in their life, all of you. And just know that and hold that and carry that and be proud of that. And I don't know. It's just not something I think you should be hiding. I hope you're not hiding it. If you are hiding it, please message me so we can talk about it, because it's just not something that ever should be on the negative or con list that maybe you make of yourself. If you're making a pro-con list of what your attributes are, or what you bring to the table or what you don't bring to the table, your MS is not a flaw. Don't ever let anyone tell you that it is a flaw, or think that it is, or that you are less than because of it. You are greater because of it. You are more special because of it. You are a force because of it. People should be, in awe of you because of your MS, because of all that you're able to carry and do and achieve in a day. So your MS falls on the pros side of that list, never a con. Don't forget that. And again, going back to the beginning of this episode, is please, 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 if you have any advice, we would love to hear it, because dating, I'm clueless. I don't think I ever thought I would be, what do they call it, the rich auntie? I didn't think that was going to be what my story was, but here we are. And it's not bad. It's not a bad life. It's pretty awesome. It's very full, but I have no idea what I'm doing in the world of dating. So any help would be much appreciated. I'm wishing you guys an amazing Valentine's Day. I hope that you're having a great week preparing for it, and that it all goes exactly how you wanted it to. And I will talk to you next week. Don't forget to subscribe. I think the box is going to be up here somewhere. Follow me on Marti's MS Life on Instagram. DM me, message me any comments or questions. I'm loving this. Thank you for coming back every week. And do not forget to give yourself some grace. Talk soon.